Hello kind people of YouTube and welcome back to another video. Today as always we're going to take a quick look at the crypto markets before going through some news and just talking about all the stuff going on in the crypto world today. Now let's start with CoinMarketCap right here. We see the markets continuing their recovery today, which started yesterday. If we're looking at the 7-day graphs here, we saw a lot of up movement in the last couple days, and today has been particularly interesting. Pretty much everything is in the green with the exception of Bitcoin and Tether in the top 10. Tether of course still struggling to find parity with the US dollar again. The longer this continues, the worse this will be for Tether. And it is looking very bad by now, because it's now been struggling for about 2 weeks and just ever so briefly reached parity a couple days ago, and now it's back at 97.9 cents again. This is not what they want to see. But aside from that, we see pretty much everything in the green. Some tokens and coins doing very well. Most notably here, Bitcoin Cash up 7.48%. The market as a whole is scratching 206 billion market cap now, definitely up from yesterday, and Bitcoin dominance has fallen 53.3%. Bitcoin dominance falling is generally a sign of a healthy market, because that means people are putting more trust into altcoins. That means people are expecting the markets to continue rising, at least in the near term. And that is when we always see altcoins outperforming Bitcoin and Bitcoin dominance falling. From yesterday it has fallen a whole 0.7%. It was at 54% yesterday, now it's at 53.3%. And we see that here with Bitcoin being the only other thing in the top 10 that has fallen by about 1%. While everything else has grown in the meantime, looking very good for the major altcoins at the moment. Let's read some actual analysis of the markets, and because November has just began, we can take a look back at October, and there we see TRON significantly outperforming the rest of the major tokens. All these articles will of course be linked in the description, so I might not read them out fully. If you want to read them yourself, check there. The month of October saw many altcoins continue to bleed out in price, with Ethereum and Ripple each declining by more than 10%. After almost 10 months of mostly bearish price action in the cryptocurrency space, there was just one crypto token that managed to tread water in October, TRON. TRON's October stability comes as a bit of a surprise for a coin that is often volatile. Earlier this year, Finder.com conducted a study ranking the top 50 cryptocurrencies by market cap in order of volatility. For the first 2 months of 2018, TRON ranked as the most volatile. This past month, TRON saw a 30-day change of about 0.25%, with that movement occurring to the upside. Which means here that TRON is actually the only of the top 10 cryptocurrencies by market cap, excluding stablecoins, that was able to increase its value in October, but only by 0.24%, so in a very neglectable way, while pretty much everything else dropped in the low double digits, with the best performers just dropping under 10% here, Bitcoin, EOS and Monero. Just in general, October was not a good month for crypto, but TRON, the only coin pretty much that was not negatively affected here. TRON, along with founder Justin Sun, has been accused of overhyping partnerships. I mean, I have accused him of doing that on this channel repeatedly. Earlier this year, CCN reported on a TRON partnership with Chinese firm Baofeng that didn't quite live up to the hype. Last month, on October 12th, founder Justin Sun published a tweet hinting at another future partnership announcement. The mysterious partnership turned out to be with cloud computing company Baidu, actually with Baidu Cloud. Baidu is the oh my god, I can't think of the English word right now. The parent company. Baidu is the parent company, a huge internet giant comparable to Google in China, but their partnership, alleged partnership, is with Baidu Cloud. But according to another report by CCN, TRON was only a client of Baidu, not a partner in the conventional sense of the word. It seems as though TRON's Twitter account even removed their tweet announcing the Baidu partnership. A Google search still finds a link for the tweet, but said link leads to a page that seemingly no longer exists and has not been archived by the Wayback Machine. TRON did have positive developments in October, however, with news of its upcoming decentralized exchange. TRON fans had reasons to cheer earlier this morning following the release of the dedicated decentralized exchange for TRON's TRX standard tokens, Hacked reported. But according to the same article, this news was overshadowed by a market-wide price downturn. So we see here a very generally bad month for crypto, but keep in mind that in September we also saw prices rise quite significantly. So if you look at this in the larger sense, in the larger scale of what happened the month before, it's not looking that bad. In general, most tokens down a bit, most coins down a bit, but TRON could outperform them. And we talked at length about TRON's, I don't want to call it a fake partnership, but most certainly misleading partnership with Baidu Cloud, which is essentially just them paying for Baidu Cloud's services. And dressing that up as a collaboration, as a partnership, is all kinds of irresponsible and misleading. And I'm unsure if that might even be considered fraudulent, but it's definitely not a good look. And I have criticized that at length on the channel before, so I'm not going to dwell on it right now. Just quickly bringing it up for the people who haven't seen my videos about that. It was not the best moment for TRON, but that said, I still think the project is very promising and has very interesting technology and might go far, despite me not agreeing with some of the actions of Justin Sun. Continuing on, some market analysis for the long term. Bakkt to lead Bitcoin recovery, February 2019 ETF denial crashes Bitcoin analyst. I'm not sure if we actually have any details about when ETF is going to, when the SEC is going to announce details about their ETF approval or denial. I was under the impression we would get the news for the ones that they previously rejected in the coming days. Not sure where this February 2019 number comes from. Maybe it's coming up in the article. Alex Kruger, a well-recognized cryptocurrency trader and technical analyst, has said Bakkt will lead the recovery of Bitcoin throughout 2018 and the first quarter of 2019. But Kruger explained that the rejection of the Bitcoin exchange-traded fund filing of VanEck, SolidX and Chicago Board Options Exchange will lead to the crash of crypto, possibly back down to the 6,000 support level, and in worst-case scenario to the 4,000. Of course, this is assuming that they will be rejected. Possible outlook for Bitcoin. First, bull run on Bakkt and renewed ETF approval narrative early 2019. Second, ETF denied February 27th, massive crash, goodbye 6,000, hello 4,000, cleanse all weak hands. Lastly, halvening 2020 narrative and readjustments lead to sustained bull run for the rest of 2019 and 2020. So his outlook here is that in the short term, we're going to see bullish sentiment because of Bakkt and because of the narrative around the ETFs. Before we will see in early 2019 a crash, and then for the end of 2019 and 2020 a sustained bull run that will take us to new heights. Bakkt, a strictly regulated cryptocurrency trading platform developed by ICE, the parent company of the New York Stock Exchange, is currently in the process of establishing an ecosystem that enables both retail traders and institutional investors to invest in the cryptocurrency market with sufficient investor protection and through products that are compliant with local regulations in the US. In December, Bakkt is expected to launch a cryptocurrency futures market, further increasing the liquidity of Bitcoin. Previously, the US Securities and Exchange Commission rejected 9 Bitcoin ETFs on the premise that the Bitcoin futures market is not of sufficient size to handle an ETF. The entrance of Bakkt into the cryptocurrency exchange market, the involvement of Bitcoin futures market operator CBOE in the VanEck ETF, and the track record of VanEck in filing over 200 successful ETFs with the SEC have led to an increase in anticipation towards the VanEck SolidX ETF. Throughout the next 2 to 3 months, technical analyst Alex Kruger emphasized that renewed enthusiasm towards the market initiated by Bakkt and the VanEck ETF will allow the price of Bitcoin to climb back to major resistance levels. Since August, Bitcoin has failed to break out of the $6,000 region due to its low daily trading volume and relatively low trading activity in the global cryptocurrency exchange market. Well, low trading volume and low trading activity are pretty much the same thing, but anyway. Hence, as of now, the market needs a major catalyst to engage a proper short-term rally and upside movement, and the two financial institutions could be a major factor that may trigger the price of Bitcoin to increase. However, speaking to CCN, Kruger firmly stated that the probability of the VanEck SolidX Bitcoin ETF being approved remains extremely low given the concerns of the SEC towards the state of the cryptocurrency exchange market. if Bakkt can begin to demonstrate a level of volume that comfortably trumps the volume of cryptocurrency exchanges that offer derivatives or margin trading such as BitMEX and Bitfinex, the SEC could consider approving an ETF. The issue with that is that the probability of Bakkt surpassing the volume of existing cryptocurrency exchanges within a 2-month span is fairly low. The launch of Bakkt, the introduction of Goldman Sachs Bitcoin futures trading platform, and the release of Fidelity Digital Assets have not had any impact on the price of the dominant cryptocurrency in the past few months. The possibility that the rejection of the ETF does not hugely affect the price of Bitcoin still exists, but that depends on the narrative that is set by investors and the media in the upcoming months, and the anticipation towards the ETF. So the bottom line here is essentially that we don't really know to which degree ETFs being either approved or rejected even affects the crypto markets at this point. We have had a lot of events in the last couple months where we either expected them to strongly affect the crypto markets and they didn't have any effect, or where we expected one effect and we got the opposite instead. So at this point, it becomes harder and harder to predict how individual catalysts will impact the markets. Now, Kruger here expects that if in February, which is apparently when the Van Eck ETF is up for approval or rejection, if that is rejected, he expects the price to plunge down by almost 40% to $4,000 or so. I'm just going to leave you guys with that. At this point, I'm completely unsure about what the next couple months will bring for cryptocurrencies or any cryptocurrency in particular. All I know is that in the long term, looking a couple years ahead, I know there is immense potential in this market and that more and more people are seeing that. So I'm not really thinking in terms of end of year 2018 or first quarter 2019. I'm thinking in terms of 2020, 21, 22, 23, what we'll see in a couple of years, and for that I'm not even worried about anything there. Whatever may happen in the short and midterm, I know in the long term we have an incredibly bright future ahead of us, and that is just what I'm thinking of when I'm thinking about crypto. Now, of course, a lot of people are heavily invested in crypto. A lot of people have lost a lot of their investment with the value of the tokens going down, and either desperately want the prices to go up so they can pull some money out of it, or even need the prices to go up because they might have gotten into debt or something else for it, which never get into debt to buy an investment product. Please don't get yourself into debt for that. But yeah, I realize a lot of people either need or desperately want the prices to go up very soon. I'm very unsure about that. I think there's by now there's a lot of reasons to believe we're not going to see a bull market in the very near term. We might see a limited one. We might see one that lasts a couple of weeks or months, but I don't think we're going to see prices from late 2017, early 2018 eclipsed anytime soon. I'm thinking in terms of the long term at this point. Now, let's get to some actual news, because we spent 30 minutes just talking about the markets here. John McAfee, very controversial crypto figure, and I'm not going to talk about whether I like or dislike him here. I think that's beside the point. He's newsworthy. That's ultimately what it is. He's newsworthy, whatever you think about him as a person or what he's saying. And he's planning to run for US president again in 2020. He ran before, but this time he wants to use his entire run to promote cryptocurrencies, to promote the understanding and approval and adoption of them. Programmer and crypto enthusiast John McAfee revealed his intention to use his 2020 bid for US presidency as a platform to promote permissionless cryptocurrencies in an interview with Cointelegraph on November 1st. Speaking with Cointelegraph at the Malta Blockchain Summit today, the founder of McAfee Antivirus Software said he plans to run around a libertarian platform and uses access to the national stage solely to discuss cryptocurrencies, while expressing confidence that no one will elect him as president. That is just kind of amazing, running for president without actually intending to become president. I know some people thought that Trump was running without actually having the intention of becoming president and was then surprised when he actually became president. But I think this might be the first time that a potential candidate has just outright said that he's running not even wanting to become president. Not just thinking that he won't, but just not even wanting to. And that is kind of amazing. McAfee commented that his pro-crypto stance is mainly based on the concept of personal freedom, stating that in his coming bid for presidency he wants to talk about personal freedom and how cryptocurrency can help us achieve that. McAfee elaborated that his intention in running for president was not to win, but rather to gain a large public platform for promoting decentralized cryptocurrencies, stating, "That's all I'm going to talk about. See, I don't want to be president, I couldn't be, no one's going to elect me president, please God, however, I've got the right to run." McAfee first announced his intention to run for US president in 2020 in order to support the cryptocurrency and promote crypto in early June. In an interview today, McAfee also reiterated his prediction from last year that top cryptocurrency Bitcoin will hit $1 million by the year of the US presidential elections. However, McAfee clarified that the amount of US dollars will not be the same 1 million that we have today, since fiat currencies will logically flee to crypto markets, adding confidently, "In 5 years' time, fiat will be on its last legs." The upcoming US presidential run will not be the first one for McAfee, who sought the Libertarian Party nomination in 2016. McAfee has since claimed that if he had been more connected with the community in 2016, he would even have better promoted the idea of currency independence. As he said in the interview today, back in his 2016 run, he focused on lapses in crypto and in cybersecurity. So the takeaway from this is that I think McAfee is way too confident in his near-term, mid-term outlook for crypto. What I love to see this enthusiasm. I really love to see it. I'm not sure fiat currencies will be on their last legs in 5 years. I think that is way overestimating the pace of change and what will really happen. But I just love seeing this enthusiasm, and whatever you think of him and whatever you think of all the things he has done in the past, I think the article mentions at the bottom, we didn't read this, yeah, he's admitted to charging over $100,000 per tweet to promote cryptocurrency projects and products. He gets a lot of very much justified criticism for stuff like this. He's been promoting a lot of projects, and sometimes it's not completely clear if he's promoting them out of his own conviction or because he's being paid for it. So and sometimes those are just not good projects. So there's a lot of shady stuff going on around him. But I think him running for US president, if he can get himself injected into major debates and get a platform, I think he can do a lot of good for the crypto world, regardless of his personal stances and what he has done otherwise. In general, I think his presidential run might have a small but important positive effect on mainstream adoption and more people thinking about crypto. Just having someone on TV in debates, and I know he might not make it into the actual presidential debates by major TV channels in the US, because those usually only have the Republicans and Democrats in it, and he's obviously not running for either of those parties. But if he can just get some airtime on major news channels, on news websites and stuff, that will potentially have a real impact on how many people just think about cryptocurrencies. Like, he might get some people who have never thought about crypto before to think about crypto in a new way, and that alone is pretty honorable in my opinion. Regardless of anything else about him, I don't want to bash people on the channel, but I do want to be fair about criticism, so I always feel the need to bring them up. Anyway, continuing on. Kick's crypto network is pretty quickly becoming much bigger. Now, we talked about this a couple times before. Kick, the messaging app, has a token called KIN, and they are developing a lot of dApps on top of it, and a bunch of those have now already appeared on markets. The number of mobile apps built around KIN, the cryptocurrency created and launched by mobile messaging app Kick, is growing. As of this writing, 10s are already out, 10, and more will become available as the Google Play and iOS stores move to approve them. All told, more than 30 apps are expected to debut in the coming weeks. KIN was created by the Canadian messaging app company Kick. To help bootstrap the project, Kick raised $98 million in one of 2017's biggest initial coin offerings, and this summer it announced it would support teams that are building apps that are designed to enable users to use and earn its tokens. We're trying to build an ecosystem where you can earn KIN in one application and spend it in another, the product manager told CoinDesk. Lots of the apps coming out fall in the classic categories with which mobile users will be most familiar. And while this offers the advantage of familiarity, it carries the disadvantage of having to compete in a market crowded by big incumbents. Fortunately, these apps don't have to compete solely on cool factor and user experience like most do, as the new KIN-enabled apps pay users directly for their participation. Put another way, think of KIN as the means by which users are incentivized to fire up the apps and participate. The following apps are currently live on Google Play: Revealed, which is a dating app; Kinguist, which is language learning; Nearby for networking; Go Challenge Me, social goals; Add Me, business networking; Find, travel networking; Vent, mental health; and Kinny, social tipping. 2 apps are available so far on iOS: Blast Chat, instant messaging, and Pause for productivity. All of these apps have straightforward ways to earn and spend kin as required by the developer program. More than 200 teams applied to join the program, 40 were ultimately chosen, and in the end 32 made it far enough in the developer program to submit their apps to either the Google Play or iOS stores. Supporting them were development grants that included kin allocations to be used to attract would-be users. Ted Livingston, Kick's founder, has repeatedly said he wants kin to become the most used cryptocurrency on Earth, where it's easy for internet users to both earn it and spend it. The theory here is that if very small amounts of money can be traded easily and freely online, many more people will spend much more money overall. Kin was originally created for Ethereum, but it has since ported most of its functionality over to a fork of the Stellar blockchain, because Kick wanted to be able to process loads of transactions for free. That way kin could run in lots and lots of mobile apps at once. Now this I think is very, very promising. In general, I think Kick with their project, with their kin token, has a very, very good chance to become a major player, especially with young people. I think they can tap a market that crypto is very much not tapping. Kick is an absolutely huge messaging app with primarily teenagers. There are obviously people of all age ranges who are using it, but that is very much one that is being used by teenagers. And teenagers are very much open for trying out new technologies, new apps, especially if they can earn something in them. And right now they're very much doing plays on existing types of apps. So they're very much putting themselves into competition with absolute giants that are probably better because they just have more development behind them. But with them paying out their token, and especially if they manage to integrate these apps meaningfully into their messaging platform or with each other, I think there's potential here. And I'm gonna take a look at these apps later on. I haven't looked at any of them yet, but I'm gonna. Oh, I did not want to open that. But I'm gonna take a look at all of these apps. Maybe one of them is promising, and I might just download one of them. I might just do that. But in general, I think they're doing a very good job so far of getting dApps out there. I honestly can't think of another major blockchain project where this many apps launched all at once and so many more are already on their way. They are really going for it. They are pushing out these dApps. They are trying to get people to use them early, and this might just help them catch the market before anyone else has really gone for it. All in all, very, very promising in my opinion. Continuing on. IOTA is in the news for their work with Ledger. Now, full disclosure, I have a Ledger affiliate link that is in my description that you can use to buy their hardware wallet and I get a small cut. So I am in some way involved with the company, but that is the extent of it. I just have their affiliate link. So, but I would have talked about this either way, even if I didn't have that affiliate link, because IOTA is one of those tokens that I know a lot of my subscribers care about and that I don't really get to talk about a lot on this channel. So when it's in the news, I try to talk about it. The Germany-based IOTA Foundation will integrate IOTA tokens with Ledger's hardware cryptocurrency wallets, according to a press release shared with Cointelegraph on November 2nd. The IOTA Foundation is a non-profit organization that supports the development and standardization of distributed ledger technology and is focused on building ecosystems around IOTA in order to facilitate its commercial adoption. As of November 2017, the foundation reportedly owned $255 million in tokens as foundation funds, 22 million as the economy fund, and 20 million as unclaimed IOTA from the crowd sale. After the integration with the IOTA Trinity and Romeo wallets, the Ledger Nano S hardware market will allow users to protect their private keys, giving access to their IOTA tokens in a special chip by isolating users' keys from their computers or smartphones. This will enable users to validate transactions on their Ledger hardware wallet as part of the security protocol. The Ledger wallet reportedly deploys a similar chip to that which is used for credit cards or passports. As Cointelegraph has previously reported, Japanese ICT conglomerate Fujitsu, do they mean ICT or IT? Either way, announced the launch of an IOTA-based proof of concept for audit trail processes in the manufacturing industry. The company is reportedly looking to use the IOTA protocol as an immutable data storage medium for audit trails across industrial production environments and supply chains to improve transparency, data trust, and data security. In June, IOTA and Volkswagen demonstrated a POC that uses IOTA's Tangle system for autonomous cars. The POC enables Volkswagen to use IOTA's Tangle architecture to transfer software updates over the air as part of the car manufacturer's new connected car systems. IOTA Tangle is another type of DLC specifically designed for the Internet of Things environment. It is an open source protocol facilitating machine-to-machine interactions, including secure data transfer, real-time micropayments, and other data. At press time, the IOTA token is trading at 47 cents. So here we see the Nano Ledger S, which of course is the leading hardware wallet out right now, integrating IOTA, and this is just the latest step in IOTA, getting very silently. You don't hear a lot about IOTA, but they're doing a lot. They're making sure they're getting on important wallets, they're getting on important exchanges. They're working with large companies, and there seems to be a bright future for IOTA. Last but not least, it's not one of my videos if I don't at least mention Ripple or XRP at some point. Ripple arrives in Dubai, over 200 customers on board. Will this affect XRP? Now, not all of this is news, but let's just go through it. It's no secret that Ripple, the creator of XRP, has been on a charm offensive to rope in as many RippleNet customers as possible. With this strong effort, the company has seen its customer base explode and grow in huge figures. At the moment, the San Francisco-based blockchain company has over 200 customers under its belt. So far, so good, that is all stuff we already know. As many already know, Ripple is the innovative company behind XRP, the current third largest crypto in the world. On its part, XRP has seen its huge share of growth, especially in terms of market cap. However, there hasn't been much activity in its price range over the past week, but that could change soon. As expected, Ripple's success in bringing in more customers would work greatly in favor of XRP. The latest of these efforts is Ripple's entry into the Asian market. Well, I wouldn't really call it the entry into the Asian market since they've already significantly integrated themselves into East Asia, but they're talking about the Middle East here. The largest Islamic bank in Saudi Arabia, Al-Rashid, I probably mispronounced it, I'm very sorry, joined RippleNet just a few weeks ago. Another one is the Kuwait Finance House. However, it's the latest announcement that could really trigger a noticeable market event. While attending a conference in Dubai, Ripple's Dilip Rao had some good news to share. Rao is the head of Ripple's Global Infrastructure Initiative, Global Infrastructure Innovation. During his speech, and you can watch that on YouTube, it's linked here, Dilip announced Ripple's plans to fully enter the Asian market by setting up a base of operations in Dubai. This is expected to be realized before the end of 2018. Going further, Rao explained the importance of Ripple's technology and what it means for the workers within the Middle East. Given that many workers in the region are foreigners who send money to their home countries, there has been a serious problem in that the transaction fees haven't favored them. Also, the time it takes for the transactions to go through is sometimes something of a disappointment to many. Now, I don't know how well most of you know the situation in the Middle East, but most countries, in general, the richer countries in the Middle East have a lot of guest workers from the poorer countries in the Middle East. There's a lot of human rights issues surrounding that, but the important thing regarding Ripple here is that there's just millions and millions of guest workers in foreign countries who are essentially there to make money that they can then send back to their families. Currently, that is of course a costly process, especially with the monetary channels in some of those countries not being all that developed, not that institutionalized. A lot of them have to rely on companies to send money that charge ridiculous fees and that take a long time. Using Ripple's technology, especially with the XRP token, could of course speed that up, make it significantly cheaper, and could have a real impact on all of those people's lives. If you suddenly don't have to spend a 10% fee on transferring your wage over to your family, that means a lot to that family that really needs the money. So they've identified a very real issue here where they can influence real change, and that is something that might happen with XRP. Dilip Rao explained that Ripple aims to eliminate these burdens by introducing a fast transaction processing system that charges negligible figures in transaction fees. Also, he talked of Ripple's Interledger protocol. If implemented, the protocol will allow various ledgers to connect and make funds transfer all the more easier and faster. Currently, the XRP network can handle around 1,500 transactions per second. That makes it the world's fastest crypto network. This claim I'm not entirely sure about. It's definitely the fastest of the major tokens to my knowledge, but at least theoretically there should be other ones that are faster. But bottom line is XRP is incredibly fast and they are working on making it even faster in the future, so there are no issues with XRP scaling, at least with how much we need it right now. The United Arab Emirates and the Middle East at large has been very receptive of the blockchain technology. Just this April, the government announced plans to use the technology to handle government transactions and data. These will include the citizens' legal documents and other financial data. Also, the first Islamic cryptocurrency exchange will be launching in 2019. As with other cryptocurrencies, such developments are bound to affect XRP prices. The fact that the banks on RippleNet use XRP as the funds transfer currency could send the crypto's price skyrocketing. Things could get even better as more banks join the network and XRP adoption increases. Now this all sounds very exciting. I wouldn't expect short-term impacts on the XRP price, especially since we don't know to which degree they're rolling out the technology, but them trying to get a base in Dubai, that means they're going hard for the Middle Eastern market. Dubai is of course the city you are placing yourself in when you're trying to do that. And I think there is great potential there, both to help all of these guest workers that are in Dubai, in other cities and countries in the Middle East, who are sending a large part of their earnings back to their family, which is of course a significant movement in money every month that XRP and that Ripple technologies could take care of, which would of course mean significantly increased volume of the XRP token, and that would likely also have an impact on the price. But they could of course also, with a base in Dubai, be in direct conversation with all of those local banks. There are a lot of local banks there. Dubai has a ton of banks in it, and in the Middle East there's just a lot of money flowing through that area, especially with all the oil money that they have there. There's a lot going on, a lot of international transfers in particular, which is of course exactly what Ripple is aiming for. This could be huge for Ripple and XRP, but I am waiting for more details on what exactly they are doing there. And with that, I'm gonna end this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not already subscribed and you want these daily news update and discussion videos, make sure to subscribe. If you really like this channel, there are ways to support it in the description, including a Patreon where you can pledge a small amount of money every month, $1 or $3. That really helps and I really appreciate it. All the links to these articles are also in the description, as well as my social media pages. And thanks for watching. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow.